In recent years, India's economic performance has undoubtedly been the main driver for change in the country and heightened the interest of investors, companies, politicians, and international universities from around the world. India is now the world's 7th largest economy in nominal terms, and it has a share of world GDP of about 3%. But when you think of the population being 18% of the world, that is obviously pitifully small. And that's why India is a low-income country. That's why the per capita GDP is so much lower here than elsewhere. India's overall GDP is about 8 times smaller than the United States. But India is catching up pretty fast. Now, in 2015, China overtook America as the largest economy in the world in terms of purchase power parity, PPP. In PPP terms, India's share of the world economy is now the 3rd largest, and only about half that of the United States or China. In fact, India is now growing faster than China, and in 2016 has become the world's fastest growing major economy. This trend is forecast to continue according to both short-term and long-term projections from the likes of the IMF. India's economic growth has actually outpaced the world average for most of the last 70 years since it achieved independence from the British Empire. And India is actually growing faster than the world average every single year since 1990, which means India is really catching up with the rest of the world. Because of this, India is often referred to as an emerging market. We've all heard this phrase 1,000 times. But ever with a keen eye for the historical context, I think it's better for us to think of India as re-emerging. Because for literally thousands of years, India has been the largest economy in the world. We know this partly because of the work done by the economist Angus Maddison. He calculated the historic size of economies around the world and found that India was the largest for 16 of the last 20 centuries. Whilst America was the great economic power of the 20th century, and still is today, it was Britain in the 19th, and it was actually China in the 18th. But in the 17th century, India was the largest economy in the world, partly as a result of all of the silver and gold that was pouring into India by European traders seeking to do business with the subcontinent. Now, in the 15th century, China was the largest economy in the world, but according to Angus Maddison, in the 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st centuries, India was the largest economy in the world. And that presumably goes back even further than that. So for thousands of years, India has had the largest population and the largest economy. Should India become the largest economy in the world again, the world will really just be reverting to a normal state of affairs.